You check your bank account and feel confused. You make decent money, you are not buying ridiculous stuff, and you are being responsible, yet somehow you have exactly $47 left until Friday, and it is only Tuesday. If this sounds familiar, here is what is actually happening to your money. You are being slowly bled to death, $15 at a time, by the subscription economy that is designed to make you perpetually broke. My name is Wesley, and welcome to Wesley Wealth. I spend way too much time thinking about why people who make good money still cannot seem to build wealth. If you are someone who feels like your paycheck just vanishes into thin air, or if you have ever wondered why your grandparents seem to accumulate more stuff on far less income, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today, we are talking about the most insidious wealth transfer in modern history. We have moved from an ownership economy to a rental economy, and most people do not even realize they are the victims. Think about it this way. Your grandparents bought a car and drove it for 15 years. They bought a house and lived in it for 30 years. And they bought a television and watched it until the screen literally died. They own their stuff. Today, you lease your car, rent your apartment, stream your entertainment, and subscribe to your software. You own absolutely nothing, and the companies that convinced you this was convenient are laughing all the way to the bank. Let me show you the brutal math that will make you physically sick. A recent study tracked thousands of budgets and found something terrifying. While most people think they spend about $86 a month on subscriptions, the reality is that the average American is actually spending $283 per month. That is over $3,200 per year, vanishing from your account for apps and streaming services you do not even own. That $3,200 is more than the average American has in their entire savings account right now. You are literally financing these companies' record profits while completely draining your own safety nets. The brilliant part of this scam is that none of these subscriptions feel expensive individually. Netflix is only $15 a month. Spotify is $10. Your gym membership is $60. Disney Plus is $8. And Hulu is $12. Each one seems totally reasonable in isolation, but death by 1,000 cuts is still death. Let's start with the streaming overload, because this is where most people completely lose their minds when they see the numbers. The average household now pays for 4.3 different streaming services. Some people are paying for 5 or 6 different platforms just to watch the exact same recycled content. People will spend 20 minutes comparison shopping to save $3 on toilet paper, but they will sign up for a streaming service they will use twice and completely forget to cancel it for 18 months. Research shows that the average person watches content on only 2.4 of their streaming services in any given month. You are paying for stuff you are literally not using, which is exactly like buying groceries and throwing half of them directly in the trash. Your great-grandmother had 3 television channels and was perfectly entertained. But you have access to more content than every human who lived before 1990 combined. And you spend 30 minutes scrolling through options before settling on watching The Office for the 400th time. But streaming services are just the appetizer. Let's talk about the gym membership, which is basically a monthly financial donation to your own guilt. The average gym membership costs $60 per month, which is $720 per year. According to industry data, the average gym member visits the gym less than twice per week, and some people pay for memberships they literally never use. Here is what is psychologically fascinating about this. People will not cancel them, because canceling feels like admitting defeat, and admitting you have given up on your health. So instead of canceling, you keep the membership as an expensive monthly reminder of your good intentions. You are paying $60 a month for the privilege of feeling bad about yourself. The entire gym industry business model is built on people who pay but do not show up. They literally count on you being too lazy to use what you are paying for. Even the gym membership pales in comparison to the ultimate subscription scam, the car payment. The average new car payment in America is now over $700 per month. When you sign up to pay $700 a month for 7 or 8 years, that is not a purchase anymore. That is a subscription to transportation. You are essentially renting a depreciating asset for the most expensive years of its existence, only to trade it in just as the payments end so you can start the cycle all over again. The subscription economy has trained us to think in monthly payments instead of total costs. Everything is positioned as affordable monthly chunks instead of the massive lifetime expenses they actually represent. Your brain processes $15 a month very differently than $180 per year, or $1,800 over 10 years, and that is exactly what these companies are counting on. They have convinced us that ownership is outdated, inconvenient, and expensive, and that renting everything is freedom. But here is the truth. They desperately do not want you to realize. When you rent everything, you build nothing. When you own nothing, you control nothing. And when you control nothing, you have no leverage to build wealth. Your monthly subscriptions are not just expenses, they are wealth transfers. The software subscription racket might be the most predatory example of all, because they figured out how to hold your own data hostage. Adobe Creative Suite used to cost $1,200. Once you bought it, you owned it, and you used it for years. Now they charge you $60 per month forever for the exact same software. That is $720 per year for something you used to own outright, meaning over 5 years you will pay $3,600 for software that you could have purchased once for a fraction of the cost. But here is the evil genius part. They do not just want your money. They want your absolute dependence. All your projects, your files, and your creative work are now locked into their ecosystem. If you stop paying, you cannot even open your own files. They have essentially taken your creative output hostage and are charging you ransom every single month just to access your own work. Microsoft Office, Google Workspace, Dropbox, Slack, Zoom, everything is a subscription now. Your business essentially pays rent just to exist in the digital world. Let's not forget the subscription that is bleeding you the most without you even noticing, your phone plan. The average American household spends $140 per month on wireless service, which is nearly $1,800 per year. Your parents had a landline that cost $30 per month and made it work just fine. Somehow we have been convinced that we need unlimited everything on multiple devices with premium features we do not even understand. People will fight tooth and nail to save $20 on their grocery bill, but they will pay $200 per month for a phone plan without questioning it. The phone companies have masterfully disguised the true cost by bundling everything together and offering payment plans for the devices themselves. Your free iPhone actually costs $1,200, but it is spread across 24 months at $50 per month on top of your service plan. You are not getting a free phone. You are getting a $50 per month phone subscription disguised as a deal. And the absurdity continues. People now subscribe to coffee delivery services that cost $25 per month for coffee that costs $8 at the grocery store, simply because the algorithm remembers to buy it for them. You have outsourced the basic human task of buying coffee to a computer, and you are paying triple for the privilege. We have created a generation of people who do not know how to own things anymore. They do not know how to maintain a car they own outright, how to buy software once and use it for years, or how to buy a house and live in it for decades without constantly upgrading. Ownership requires responsibility, maintenance, and long-term thinking. Subscriptions require none of that. You just pay the monthly fee and someone else handles everything. But that convenience comes at the massive cost of your financial independence. You cannot build wealth when everything you use is someone else's asset that you are paying to access. The same companies that are charging you subscriptions for everything are the ones getting wealthy from your monthly payments. Netflix has a market cap of over $150 billion built entirely on your $15 monthly subscriptions. Adobe is worth $240 billion because they convinced millions of people to pay them rent instead of buying their software. These companies are using your subscription payments to build their own wealth while ensuring you never build yours. They own the platforms, the content, the software, and the infrastructure. You own nothing and pay for everything. They have convinced you that ownership is a burden and that commitment is limiting. But the truth is that ownership is freedom. When you own your car, you can drive it without mileage restrictions. When you own your software, you can use it forever without monthly fees. Subscriptions are ongoing obligations that never end. The subscription economy has created a new form of digital feudalism where the companies are the lords who own everything and you are the peasant who works to pay them rent for access to their tools and entertainment. Let's do the brutal math on your opportunity cost, because this is where the real wealth destruction happens. Every dollar you spend on subscriptions is a dollar that does not compound in your investment account. When you combine your car payment, phone bill, and those monthly subscriptions, you are bleeding over $1,100 every single month. If you invested that money instead at 7% returns over 30 years, it would be worth $1.3 million. Let that sink in. You are literally trading your millionaire status for the convenience of not owning stuff. And this trap is only accelerating. Everything that used to be a one-time purchase is becoming a monthly payment. Your clothes are becoming subscriptions with services like Rent the Runway. Your furniture is becoming a subscription with services like Furnish. And soon you will live in a fully furnished life that belongs entirely to other people. When you cannot make the payments, everything disappears overnight, leaving you with no equity, no assets, and no ownership. So here is your escape plan. Tonight, when you get home, pull up your bank statements and add up every single recurring charge. Write down that number and multiply it by 12. That is how much of your financial future you are voluntarily giving away to corporations this year. Cancel everything you do not absolutely need. Keep one streaming service. Cancel the gym membership and buy some free weights for your garage. Stop leasing cars and buy something reliable you can drive for 10 years. Start buying software instead of renting it. Choose ownership over convenience. The subscription economy wants you to think ownership is outdated, but ownership is how wealth gets built. Every monthly payment you eliminate is money you can invest in assets that actually belong to you. Stop being a permanent renter of your own life. Stop funding the billion-dollar market caps of Netflix and Adobe, and start funding your own financial freedom. My name is Wesley. If you are ready to kill your ego, stop paying the poverty tax, and actually start building real wealth, hit the subscribe button. Stop renting your life. Stay liquid.